Hi, I'm Alicia and welcome to my channel Papercraft Secrets. Today I'm sharing a tutorial for this layout using Mintay Paper's Cozy Evening Collection. This is part of a kit that is available on my website at www.papercraftsecrets.com.au. There is one 12 by 12 layout and one set of 12 cards. Let's have a little talk through what is actually in your kit that you will receive so that you know exactly what you're getting. First of all, we have the beautiful Cozy Evening papers by Mintay. So these papers are 12 by 12 inches. They're a scrapbooking paper set, and we'll actually use pretty much every single paper to create our 12 cards and our layout from this kit. The other thing that is in your kit is these sentiment tags. Now this is a printable that I created and I've printed it on high quality white cardstock. There's a mixture of sentiments, thank you, happy birthday, best wishes, thinking of you. So you can tailor the cards to your, what you desire. If you want a thank you card, you can make a thank you card. If you send more birthday cards, you can make them birthday cards. You will also receive a 10-pack of Kaisercraft cards and envelopes. These are a high quality card and envelope, 10 in a pack. We're making 12 cards, so there'll be an extra 2 added to the kit with an extra 2 envelopes so that you'll have enough to make all 12 of your cards. This is called Kaiser Mist. It's white. You'll be able to use this on all your projects. You shake it up, you spray it. It gives a little bit of a mixed media effect to your projects. So something that you can play with in your craft room after you've used the kit. This is a gorgeous champagne colored ribbon. You'll receive 5 meters of this in the kit. That'll give you enough to cut into 40cm pieces. And this is white twine. You'll receive 4 meters of this in the kit, and that'll be enough for 30cm pieces. So this is the contents of your kit, plus you'll have a little sheet which will link you to the video tutorials, and it'll provide you with color photographs so you can see the cards and the layout pictures that you're creating. As I mentioned before, there'll be 2 projects, the set of 12 cards and the layout. This video is for the layout, so let's get started. So this is the beautiful Cozy Evening Mintay paper collection. On the reverse, we have our fussy cut pictures. We have this beautiful cream page with images at the top and the bottom corners, and then a very distressed mixed media looking page in a sort of a clay color on the reverse. 2 of those. We have this wooden page, distressed wooden, and on the back it's like a door, fancy door. 2 pages of those. There's our door again. This page here, heavily clustered page in the corners, and on the reverse a very distressed vintage brown paper. 2 of those. Now this page here, we get 2 of these. I've already cut one of those pages up, and I will step you through how I did that. There's lots and lots of small floral clusters that you can cut from this sheet, and this will be beneficial for our cards and also for our scrapbook layout. We have a leaf page here. Oops, I forgot to show you this page on the back. Sort of like a sort of water-stained terracotta page. And here we have the watercolor mint green page on the back of our leaves. And then we have 2 of the number 6 papers, which are your pictures. And on the reverse of that page, we have the frames. Our first task is to take this page here and we are going to fussy cut out our floral clusters. I'm going to take you step by step through how I approached this task, and we can do it together, and then once we've completed this, we'll be ready to start the main part of our layout. So you might look at this page and think this is a little bit overwhelming to cut. There's so many little patterns. So what I wanted to do is take you through how I approach this task. So I begin at the edge of the page, and here I'm just cutting off one flower. And then I'm moving to another flower and just cutting roughly around that flower. So I start on the edge and I just work my way in through the pattern. Now there's some things that I might decide, you know what, I'm going to cut that little bit off. I don't really need that in my design. And you'll find that you do sometimes cut something off that you don't really want, and that's not a problem. So I'm just taking my time. This video is on double speed, so I'm going at half this speed in real life. And I'm just cutting around those floral clusters in a rough way. I'm not going in and out and right next to the illustration yet. I'm just breaking this page up into different flowers. Now, once you have mastered this technique of seeing a page of floral clusters and cutting them out, you really do open up a big door to yourself in terms of card making and scrapbooking and budget, because these flowers can really create a fabulous effect. And I'm sure that you've probably got quite a few of these sort of designed pages in your collection at home. You'll be able to get a lot out of them if you're prepared to just take a little bit of time and fussy cut out these flowers. I can tell you that you will reap the benefits in your projects. So we're going to use one sheet of these little flowers in our cards, and we're going to need use another whole sheet of these flowers on our scrapbook layout. So I am making my way patiently through this sheet of flowers, and I'm just roughly cutting around each one. And I'm almost down to the last little pieces of the page. And once I have cut all of these out, I can pop these into my snap block bag with my scissors, pop them into a handbag and cut them out at another time. So I want to take you through how I fussy cut these flowers in case you're new to fussy cutting, or maybe you just want to try to pick up a few extra tips when it comes to cutting out small intricate things. So here we have our floral cluster. We're going to take our scissors and come in next to this leaf. We're leaving a very small gap of the green background around the image. We're going around this leaf, back up, moving the paper around this leaf, back up. Our scissors don't move that much. It's more our hand turns the paper so that our scissors can go around where we want to cut. Back in around this leaf, up the stem, around another green leaf, in down into that little green leaf, back out. Now we're going to go around those white flowers. And around this green leaf. Pointing back down, up and around the white flower, down around the rose. Now you may choose to go around these little orange spotty things, or you may choose to cut them off. That's up to you. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you cut something off, don't stress. No one's going to even notice. It's quite an enjoyable process, fussy cutting, if you just relax and don't sort of worry about trying to do it as quickly as you can. As soon as you start to rush, it becomes a bit of a chore. Just take your time around this leaf. We're almost finished now, this little white cluster, going in and around that leaf, around the white flower, up that little leaf there, down the back side of it, around a tiny leaf, and we are finished. And there is our white floral cluster. Beautiful. Once you have all of those cut out, we're ready to start our card making. You'll have lots of little scrappy pieces that you'll need to put into the bin or into a little scrap container. We're going to begin with these 2 pages. They're 12 by 12 pages, and just start by removing the barcode strip from each of the pages so that you've got your 12 by 12 page ready to go. So we have the brown sort of distressed page, and we have the green wooden panel page. There are 2 pages that we're going to focus on for this layout. We're going to layer these pages one on top of the other. The brown one's going to be at the back, the green one's going to be at the front. We're going to have a small border of the brown at the back. So what we're going to do is measure 2 inches and make a cut. Measure 2 inches, but don't cut all the way through, so that we're going to have a 2-inch square. You don't have to get it exactly right, but just roughly cut a 2-inch border from your square. And if you need to use your scissors, a little bit, you can, just to get that out. So we're going to be saving a little bit of paper. Okay, so there's the square that we've cut out. We can then reuse that paper down the track. So there's our 2-inch border. Then we're going to have this piece on top. You're going to need to cut that to 11.5 inches by 11.5 inches. Now I've already cut it. I didn't actually film the cutting of that green wooden paper, but you need to cut it so that it's 11.5 by 11.5. So it's just that little bit smaller than a 12 by 12 square, and that will allow us to have the 12 by 12 brown border at the back of the layout, and then we've got the 11.5 green panelled square at the front. So this is the base page for our layout. So we've cut the border from the brown, we've we've reduced the size of the green to 11.5, so we've now got a really nice starting point for our layout. Now that little extra square that we cut out, we're going to use that paper. So I'm going to map my photograph with some of that paper. So I'm cutting this to 4¼ by 6¼ inches, and then I will just glue my photo onto that page, and that'll have a border just like the border around the 12 by 12 paper. So there's a bit of consistency between the border on the page and the border on the photograph. Now you can use any photograph that you desire. So now we're coming to layering and building the layout. Now we've still got this little strip of, couple of little strips here of paper from our square that we cut out. Now this is actually going to be covered up, so you don't have to put this down if you don't want to, but I just added it in, so I just gave myself a little bit of structure to where to put my layers. Sometimes when I'm layering, I like to have some sort of base part to just sort of keep me into a shape of some form. So even though this little brown rectangle, it won't be seen at all at the end of the layout, I'm just popping it in to give myself some structure and a little bit of height as well to the layout, because I put the recycled cardboard on the back. So that's just going to bring a bit of height into the layout as well. So I'm going to be using some cardboard on the back of my fussy cut images to add dimension to the layout. Now this is where the fun begins. This is where we start to position our layers. I've taken a really large floral cluster and I've popped it in that corner, sort of the bottom left-hand corner of the photograph. Here's another large fussy cutting, and I'm going to put that in the top left-hand corner of the layout, because I'm going to have a sort of a triangle shape for all of my layers. So basically I'm just sort of playing around with my design here. I like the deer down the bottom of the page. It's quite a large deer, so it's going to be at the sort of bottom of my triangle. I'm going to glue that in there because I'm happy with those pieces there going in that way. I wanted to use as many of the animals that I could from the fussy cutting page. You don't have to. If you don't feel like animals suit your photograph, you could keep the animals out and just use flowers. This one I'm just gluing underneath the brown rectangle, flat onto the page. I like the deer in that position, so I'm going to keep him there. I'm going to have some flowers at the top that will be poking out from behind that brown rectangle. Some at the side. I'm thinking about this wall hanging filling in this space here. I actually didn't fussy cut it out before because I didn't think I would use it in my layout, but now that I'm looking at it, I think it's actually going to be perfect as a space filler. So I'm just going to quickly cut that out. I really like that colour and the hanging down of the threads or the cord. I'm going to put my deer on because I'm really happy with that deer there. I'm adding in some more flowers now. This is going to have a lot of flowers in it. You don't have to use as many as me if you don't feel like you want to. I'm just gluing my photo down now. I popped a little bit of cardboard underneath it to elevate it from the page. I'm going to add a little squirrel in here facing the deer. And then I'm going to add some flowers as well. And that will fill in that little space underneath my photo next to the wall hanging. Glue that little squirrel down. Okay, I'm going to add some more flowers underneath there, poking out, filling in those little gaps between the deer and the photograph. Puppy's going to go this way. I'm going to glue him in. Pop a little flower in here at the bottom. So we're layering up these flowers and these fussy cut images. And this is the most enjoyable part of designing the layout, I find. I really enjoy putting all of these little layers together. Sometimes I'm adding cardboard to the back of the elements, sometimes I'm not. So that means that we're getting two different layers. Some are over the top of others. So I'm going to glue that one in directly flat onto the page, so that will be a lower layer of flowers and embellishments. And then there's the ones that have the cardboard are on the sort of upper layer. So we've worked our way sort of along the bottom there, and we're going to move on to the side section now. These little leaves are going to guide me with my layering. That's the direction that I want to take my layers. So I've glued those straight down onto the page. Now I'm going to use some cardboard on this one to bring it up higher over the top. And we're sort of, that's the point of our triangle there on the side. And then my goal is to fill all of that in. Leaves look really good, so if you are doing some little underneath flowers, point the leaves out so that they'll be seen, because they're very interesting. Just a little floral cluster there with cardboard. That's the sort of point of the triangle. We might be able to add a cute little bird in there, going with our animal theme. It's cute, little puffy chest. Okay, I'm thinking maybe this greeny blue coloured pumpkin might be the nice filler for that middle section there. We'll pop that in there. You can see how that's going to fill that space up for us. That's looking good, and then there's still a little bit of space that we're filling, so I'm adding another little flower. Now again, if you don't want to add as much, you can actually leave spaces. You don't have to have everything completely covered. This is a little pile of blankets that I really didn't think I would use in my layout, but I needed a few large, I felt like I needed some large pieces to fill in. So I'm thinking that could look quite cute up the top there. There we go. So now we're working along this top section here. I'm going to try another pumpkin. This time it's going to be an orange coloured pumpkin. That's it, pop that in there, and then we're just going to blend those pictures with flowers. I'll add another little bird in there. So just balancing our animals out, and we're checking which way they're facing. We've nearly got all of the gaps and things filled in. That's looking really good. There's a little bit of a dip there, so what I'm thinking is I might chop this in half, or get one that's chopped in half. If you can't get something to fit, you can always cut it yourself. So I'm going to pop that in there to fill in that little gappy hole. The layout is almost finished now. We're really just adding tiny little extra finishing touches. This position where I'm putting this flower here would be a great spot for a title. If you had a wooden word or a sticker word or a puffy letters, you could add your title. If it was like a running writing word, you could add that beautifully just there beside the photograph on top of all those layers. If you wanted to add a title like the word love, or amazing or beautiful, or one of those sort of words, you could add that in there, or you could even add it in a little bit down the bottom. There's definitely room for a title on this layout if you wanted to put one in. I actually didn't put a title on this layout, but I think you could certainly add one in. So just a few little playing around with just if there's any little gaps or holes that I'm just filling in with a flower here or there. And this sort of becomes quite dense, a dense design of flowers, which it doesn't have to be as this dense if you want it to be a little more sparse. It's up to your individual style and just how you feel with the layout, how you enjoy creating with it. All right, so that's looking quite good now, and I think we're just about finished. You can see that there's lots and lots of layers here. So just adding a few final little bits and pieces if you feel like you just have a little bit of a space here and there. It's making sure that you're happy with your layout, that everything's glued down securely. I did want to add those little bits in. Maybe I'll just pop them in somewhere there, just for a little bit of interest. That's looking beautiful. I hope you like the layout. I think it's really, really pretty. It's quite a spectacular piece. It's quite special. Lots of lovely, lovely layers. Again, you can have your animals in or you can have your animals out and just have flowers, depending on your photograph and what suits your photograph. Be a lovely forest picture or a little boy playing in the forest, or there's a lot of potential for these colors, very natural colors. Our final step is just to cover our photograph and the heads of any animals and just spray our white misting spray over the layout, and then our layout is finished. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. This kit is available on my website at www.papercraftsecrets.com.au. Please make sure you have subscribed to my YouTube channel, and I hope you have a lovely crafty day.